Greetings, everyone. My name is Washington. Hope everybody's having a good day. I'm going to continue on from the first video, explaining to further detail the claims that I filed for, and how I became service connected for. One, carpal tunnel. The symptoms that I have for that is pins and needles feeling. I had them midway through my time in the Marine Corps, and started getting worse towards the end. For me, worse, the reason why I say worse is because I've never had this type of feeling. So I spoke to my primary care, explained, that maybe it could be, coming down. Maybe I have a pinched nerve or something in my cervical spine. Maybe that could be it. I don't know. So at the time, he referred me to my pain and rehab doctor, which she ended up doing, for my back. She ended up doing an MRI and X-ray to see what was going on. And the only thing she was able to find was a cervical strain, which wasn't pinching on a nerve or anything like that in my spine, or at least my cervical. And from there, she ended up going with the next best possible answer, which was she did an EMG, which is an electromyography test. And from there, she ended up, so the way an EMG works is checks for muscles with a needle based on flexion. And then also there's a shock that is sent on the medium nerve to see how fast it travels. Because of that, she ended up finding out and I got diagnosed with mild carpal tunnel syndrome, which mild is 10 for your dominant, 10 for your non-dominant hand. Then there's 20 for your non and 30 for your dominant hand, and then 30 and 40. 30, 40, I believe, would be the max. With that said, I got my 10%. I'm gonna go for another EMG, which is 2 years later from the last exam, for another EMG this coming Thursday. Hopefully the symptoms haven't gotten worse, but it stays on top of things, and especially because I'm a scheduler, I'm gonna be looked at again to see if these things have gone away or gotten better. And if it doesn't, with the EMG, if it shows that it's still there, still lingering, or it's gotten worse, then obviously I will remain with my percentage rating, or it would go higher. Would it go any higher than the 100% that I have right now? No, it wouldn't. And the only way it would go higher is if I had a claim that was 100%, and then the other would be 60%. That would be the only way that the math would change, and it would be added on. So 100% of one claim and then 60% of the other would throw you onto a special monthly compensation, and throw you into the K category. That's the only category you want to go on. If anybody else that's like amputated or anything like that, they fall under the L to the P categories. You don't want to fall under those categories. Be grateful with the sacrifices you've made, because there are others that have made the ultimate sacrifice, and or made a little more than what you have. So going back to the carpal tunnel, 30-40 would be the max, at least for me, and 10-10 I'm satisfied enough. Now, with IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome, the way I went about that is, back in 2003 on the initial push, I got sick, caught the Nazaria virus. It went around through the whole platoon, through the whole H&S company. So if you were stationed in Camp Whitehorse, by the Euphrates River, close to the Euphrates River, and you got sick, you definitely lasted a whole week on IV fluids and at BAS. Couldn't hold anything down, shitting, throwing up, everything. So I guess because that was documented with BAS, when I went to the doctor, explaining, look, it wasn't normal shitting 8+ times a year, 8+ times a day was not normal, and it was something that I went through it for 8 years, and it took that long for somebody to tell me, fuck, people normally shit once or twice a day, you're fucking doing that, you know, times 4. And I was like, oh shit, that's true. You know, I would get dehydrated. I couldn't hold anything down at times. You know, it would make me want to throw up. You know, times that I caught cramps or anything like that. Felt like, you know, I don't know what that feeling was like to have fucking periods or menstrual cramps. But could I say come close? It would come close. Yeah, it does come close sometimes. So, you know, I went to my primary care. I complained about it. She referred me to a GI doctor. Now, with the GI doctor, I stated the same thing. You know, I got sick in Iraq. I don't know whether it could be worms or anything like that. Maybe you can help me out. We can figure this out. She said, sure, not a problem. Got me scheduled for endoscopy and a colonoscopy. Those were performed, and she ended up diagnosing me. She said, look, the great thing is that you don't have worms. Awesome. We don't have to remove anything out of you. But you do have irritable bowel syndrome. So I said, oh shit, you know, fine, you know, got that done. Before we had the endoscopy and colonoscopy done, when I had complained about my stomach and everything, and I went to the VSO and I jumped the gun and I ended up filing a claim, my VSO ended up putting it under as gastritis. Now, yeah, you know, they look into my medical records and stuff like that, but because the symptoms weren't correlating with what gastritis is, obviously I got denied. So I was pissed off, you know. It gave me that stereotypical mindset of what, you know, fuck, the VA is not out to help me. VSO's a fucking bunch of numbnuts, don't know what the fuck they're doing. So again, that happened. So now that I had the endoscopy, colonoscopy done, it was new evidence. And she said irritable bowel syndrome. Now I know what the fuck it is, you know. So I went, filed that. This is around the time that e-benefits came out. So, you know, it helped me out dearly. I didn't have to go to fucking VSO. Fuck them. What do I need them for? So I filed the claim. Got my service connection. But I got a 0%. Because I got that 0%, I was fucking frustrated. I was like, what the fuck? What is it that I'm doing wrong? All right, I got the service connection. On IBS, the highest you could go is 30%. So it's 30, 10, 0%. So I have all the symptoms for 30%. What is it that I'm not doing right? So I Googled it, researched it. One of the guys in the forum that I completely failed to annotate the forum, he has stated, if you're getting cramps, if you're feeling dehydrated, you can't hold anything down, you should be at the ER, you know. Obviously, this is an Army vet. He's, you know, stated these are things that, you know, is not normal for a person. You should be at the ER getting at least IV fluids to, you know, put fluids back into your system, and you're not dehydrated. You know, you don't, nothing else comes about, you know, from this. So I was like, oh shit, you know, I forgot about that. You know, I do go through these symptoms. I just decided to tough it out. I'm a fucking Marine. This is what the fuck we're bred for, you know. Tough it the fuck out through the fucking the bad times, you know. So I decided, why not? Let me make a change. Let me start going to the ER. So I did. I did that, I think, 3 times per month. I've been doing it at least now twice a month. Just depending how, you know, how bad I get. But that's what I did. And because I started doing that, somebody that has new evidence for my increase now. Because I'm already service connected, so I don't need to refile a claim. All I need to do is apply for an increase. So I did that. I went on e-benefits. They offered to put in for an increase, and then that's what I did. Submitted my new evidence, and bam, got fucking 30% service connected on IBS. So again, you know, that's what had taken care of me. There's another way. Let's say you didn't get a virus, or you didn't get, you know, sick while you were in Iraq. The foods that you eat obviously contributes to IBS. Also, another thing that contributes to IBS is anxiety attacks. So if you have PTSD, or you just have a mental health problem, having an anxiety attacks, or just anxiety period, they contribute to stomach problems. So this could be a secondary claim to PTSD or your mental health issue, whatever mental health claims you make. So, you know, look into it, get it checked up, taken care of. I know a lot of guys that have the pins and needle feeding as well. get that taken care of, get it looked at. Some of you might have it in your toes, which I do. I'm still trying to get that taken care of. So there's a few other claims I'm still going for, like carpal tunnel and cervical strain. Would it do add more to my 100%? No, it doesn't. I'll explain later what adds up, the math in regards to it, so 160%. I'll explain that all later. There's another thing I wanted to talk about. I have about maybe 10 minutes left. Is Caregivers program. Now, the Caregivers program, the way that works is, if you're a veteran, yes, you are service connected, yes, and you need help more than 6 months out of the year, you're eligible for the Caregivers program. If you are active duty, yes, you are about to EAS, yes, you are service or will be service connected, yes, and need help more than 6 months out of the year, you're eligible for a Caregivers program. What the Caregivers program is the way Medicaid works. Medicaid or your health insurance through your job or anything will allow you allow a sibling to take care of you and pay them as if they're your home aide, like a nurse aide, but at home. And they'll pay your sibling to take care of you. VA does the same thing too. It's a Caregivers program, and they will pay your siblings to take care of you. Siblings, or your mom, your wife, whatever it is, your living girlfriend, domestic partner, whatever, they'll pay them, and it's tax free. You ain't got to report that, just like your monthly VA rating checks. You don't have to report any of that. So that's the way the Caregivers program works. So you go to your local VA hospital if they have a Caregiver program, and you apply for it. If not, you go to the nearest Caregivers program facility and you apply for it. There is the assumption that you need to be 30% or more. I don't know how true that is, but then again, I'm 100, so it is what it is. Apply for it. It doesn't hurt. The symptoms for caregivers are, if you need help getting out of the bed, taking a shower, grooming yourself. I no longer could cut my hair because my hands tend to fall asleep, if they're upright for too long. So it's either I get better at timing it and going quickly on my haircuts, or better yet, just have my mom cut my hair. That's the way I go about it. So that's the way the Caregivers program works. So that's how I my suggestion to you guys. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about before I go, another thing, the math for the ratings. Just because you have a 20% on one and a 30% for another, it doesn't add up to 50%, for your rating. The way the math works is, let's say you're 60% for one claim, and obviously if you're 60%, we'll talk more. I'll explain that in another freaking episode. But if you're 60% for one claim, and then you have 30% for another, the way it works is your 60% is your new 100. The rest of that 40%, in order for you to get to a full 100%, they grab the second claim, which is 30%, and they'll grab 30% out of 40, and then they add that onto your 60. All right? Don't have my calculator. I'm driving. I kind of don't want to do math right now. I'm pretty good at it. I don't fucking want to gloat, whatever, yada, yada. Yeah, it is what it is. But if you understand me, pull out your calculator and do it yourself. Or better yet, I'll do you one for it. If you have 60%, and then you have 40 left, and you have 10% out of that, you grab 10% from the 40, which is 4, and you add that to your 60, and that would be 64. If you have another 10%, because you're still at 60%, you haven't moved forward, grab another 4, add it onto the 64, now you have 68. Now you move up, you get, what they end up doing is you'll end up getting rounded up to 70%. Even though you're at 68, you get rounded up to 70%. And let's say because now you're at 70%, if you get another 10%, out of that 30% is 3 points added on to the 68, it becomes 71. You'll still be at 70%. So it doesn't go up to the next round. If you hit that 65 or that 75, then they'll rate you at that 80%. All right, that's the way that works. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is if you're service connected and you have a rating, you have some type of experience on how you went about getting service connected, I suggest you motherfuckers share that shit. Don't keep it to your fucking self. There's other veterans out there that, you know, might not know how the system works, and, you know, they might be going through some shit, might not have any health insurances or anything like that. Even if they do, you know, current situations that I was in before. I have buddies of mine that they don't want to use their health insurance through their jobs because maybe their jobs might end up firing them for having any type of PTSD issue or anything like that, or going to see a psychologist. So they don't want their job finding out, because eventually they would, through a union or whatever it is. Help them the fuck out. Maybe, you know, they could receive the help through the VA, and they could get taken care of VA, and their job doesn't need to fucking find out, you know. Federal is HIPAA, and your fucking bullshit, their bullshit jobs don't have to fucking tap into their shit. So help them the fuck out. Don't keep that fucking information to yourself. All right? Share the fucking info. You never know. Your buddy might be suicidal, you know, have the suicidal ideation, you know. Pass that info along. Help them, you know, because if we're not helping each other, we're being fucking shitbags by not helping each other. So, you know, pass that information along forward. And if you don't know anybody, maybe you got cut off, or you cut off other vets, you don't want to fucking get in contact with your unit, pass that info along to me, and I'll help you. You know, I'll pass that info to, you know, through the YouTube channel. I'm not gaining much out of this. Actually, I'm gaining the satisfaction that I'm helping other veterans out. That's what I'm gaining from this. Besides the claims that I had filed for, I've helped quite a few buddies of mine. Do know what the process is like, do know what their symptoms are like. So I've been able to learn what, you know, how to go about filing for those claims and the ratings that you deserve for those. So again, you know, share the information. Don't keep it to your fucking self, you know. This fucking info is not fucking valuable, you know, where, oh, you deserve to fucking get paid for it or whatever it is, or, you know, give me a No, shit shouldn't be like that. Hook each other up, you know. Don't fucking go to, you know, I understand you guys want to go to a lawyer. Maybe they might know more about it. There's one buddy of mine, went through the lawyer, got his retro check, depending, you know, because of how long he was in the process for it. Lawyer took a chunk of that shit. Do you want people taking a chunk out of your fucking money? Yeah, you got service connected. Yeah, did they really do all the legwork? Did they really get you what you really fucking deserve? Only you would know what the fuck you deserve, all right? And if we could help each other out, we could, you know, it'd be great. There's one quote that I followed through. My memory sucks, but if you're doing poorly, if you know a person that's doing poorly, help them to do well. And if that person's doing well, help them to do even better. The quote is by John Ron, and that's the definition of leadership. And it's a great fucking definition of leadership. So help each other out, guys, man. As Marines, that's the fucking number one thing that we're taught: leadership. You know, how to become leaders. And let's do that. Let's help each other out. All right, guys. Take care. Do me a favor. Follow my IG account, CombatVetVlogger. If you are not subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't have a YouTube account, make one and subscribe to it, you know, and, you know, get the notifications of whenever I put up videos. I'm going to be putting up a lot. I want to share as much information as I can, and I want you guys to fucking make use of this information and share with others. All right, guys. If you have any questions, hit me up and I'll answer them through another YouTube video. All right, take care. Bye-bye.